Hello and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to our today's webinar, How to Re-engage Email Contacts. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. My name is Smita and I'm working with Niche Software Solutions as a marketing manager, and I handle the marketing of our email marketing tool called Juvlon. Before I begin today's session, I had few housekeeping announcements to make as usual. Please note that our session is being recorded and will make the link available with everyone after the session. We have kept everyone on mute to ensure that any background noise and conversations are kept private. To ask the questions, please make sure to use the question box or the chat window that we've just used on your GoToWebinar window. Write your questions, comments, and anything that you want us to see in this question box. After the presentation, we'll try to attend all your questions. Just a quick check of the audio. I just want to understand and know if everyone is able to hear me, whether I'm audible. I got the answers from people, those who have just joined a little bit earlier. For the new ones, thanks, Kavita. Okay, that was all about the housekeeping stuff that I had to say. Now coming back to the topic, it's like we always keep on thinking how to bring back all those inactive contacts. I guess that's our day-to-day experiences that we come to know that there are people, those who are not responding to our emails. Lisa Ferguson, an email marketing specialist, has been studying this issue and trying to find some solution towards this. We are fortunate to have Lisa today with us all the way from USA, and she will be sharing all her observations, questions, and tips. Please welcome Lisa to the show. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? I'm assuming everyone can hear me. If that is indeed the case, you can let Smita know in the comment box there. I'm just going to introduce myself real quickly. As Smita mentioned, my name is Lisa Ferguson. I am coming to you guys from sunny Buffalo, New York today, where it's not quite sunny yet. It's actually in the morning. It's about 5:30.
Yes, I was about to wish you a very good morning, Lisa.
Yes, but I understand good afternoon over there.
Right.
So
Thank you so much.
everyone's just about finishing up their workday, which is great. So this is a great way to end your workday.
Yes.
What I do here in Buffalo is help people, just like yourselves, in all honesty, try to work through some of their email marketing and content marketing issues. Today, one of the topics we're tackling is re-engagement emails. The idea behind the webinar is that we're going to try to teach you how to bring some of those customers back into your sales fold. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dive right on in, but as I'm moving through the slides, if you guys have any questions or comments or thoughts, as Smita mentioned, we'll be taking those at the end of the webinar, so feel free to kind of jot those down in the comment box, and we'll get to those at the end. So, for starters, let's start off with a definition here of what a re-engagement campaign is. A re-engagement campaign is designed to bring once active customers back into the sales fold. So essentially these are customers for whatever reason who have decided, that something's not quite of interest to them on their end of the marketing campaign. So in other words, what we're going to try to do is create some emails that are specifically targeted to these customers who were once engaged. They obviously signed up for your email list. They had some interest at some point in time about your business or product, but for whatever reason have become unresponsive. And this is a very common issue with email marketing lists. Essentially what you're seeing from these unresponsive or inactive customers is that you're sending emails, but you're not getting any response. Essentially these emails are just going unopened. Obviously if they're going unopened, there's no click-throughs, your conversion rates are pretty much non-existent. There just seems to be this lack of interest coming from their end. So the idea behind a re-engagement campaign is almost to wake up these people, to re-engage them once again, and to bring them back in to the interest circle, if you will. The emails that we are going to send are trying to engage them with your business or product once again. And we're going to go over some really specific examples at the end here on how to go about doing this. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about why this kind of a campaign is so important. As I mentioned, when I'm talking about inactive customers, it's very common. In some cases, up to 49% of an email list is classified as inactive. Now, I feel like that's a little bit on the high side. That's one of the studies that I came across. Maybe a lot of you aren't experiencing numbers that are quite that high, but if you're not kind of doing as much maintenance on your email list as you maybe should be throughout the year, that could be a pretty possible number for you. And if that's the case, that's fine. We're here to fix that number, get it a little lower for you. But essentially, if you're dealing with an email marketing list where about half of your contacts are inactive, you're losing money, right? I mean, if they were once interested in your business and product and they're just not anymore, it's time to pull them back in. The idea here is that we'll be trying to bring those clients back, because essentially digging up new clients is hard to do, right? Essentially, you already have this list of people that we can reactivate, and for the most part, your efforts are easier spent reactivating the former customers than they are trying to spend efforts and money trying to replace those names on that list. And the big question here, of course, bottom line, why lose customers if you don't have to? If you can spend some of your time creating a few re-engagement emails to bring them back in, to show them, hey, we've got some stuff that's really of interest to you, why not? Essentially a re-engagement campaign is a really cost-effective way to revive those sleepy segments of your email list. So, let's get to how to reactivate your customers. Essentially, somewhere along the way, for whatever reason, there's been a disconnect, right? These people who once were on board aren't really sure at this point, and they may be kind of on the brink of, becoming completely inactive customers and really kind of stepping back and stepping away from your product or service. That's not what we're going for here. So we need to figure out why that is, why they're on the brink. So we're going to go over a couple of strategies to figure out how to identify what the problems are. But essentially what we need to really be thinking about right now with this particular segment of your list is how to take a new approach with them. We're going to need to offer that particular group some different incentives and really come up with content that appeals to this group to bring them back in. We're also going to check into email frequency, because this is actually a problem that usually stems from inactive customers, right? Essentially, maybe you're sending too many emails or not enough, and maybe that's one of the reasons why these email customers aren't engaging as much as they once were. So we're going to try to figure out what those issues are through some of these emails that you're sending, and essentially get these people back on board. But let's go over some examples of re-engagement emails as we're thinking about some of these issues. Re-engagement emails, there are plenty of them out there, and if you did a simple Google search, you could come up with a few examples as well. I've picked some of the more common ones, some of the ones that are most effective in my opinion. The main one, the most popular re-engagement email that's really out there is what I refer to as a "we miss you" email, right? And it's really quite basic. The idea behind it is that you're going to take that segment of your list that you classify as inactive or sleepy or however you want to characterize them, and you're going to send just that segment of your list the emails that we're going to go over right now, one of which can be this "we miss you" email. And if you notice, very, very simple, very basic email here. The title just simply says, "We've missed you." So in other words, this person hasn't made any kind of purchase at the Gap, which is a retail outlet here. So what they've done, very simple text, "We've missed you," and then they've provided a discount coupon, 15% off if you make a purchase here. This alone is enough of an incentive to sometimes bring some people back. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe they're waiting for a good deal. If you offer someone a deal that they can't refuse, who knows, they might come right back, right? So, I mean, re-engagement might just be as simple as saying, "We've missed you, here's an incentive, come on back to us." Very simple email to put together, and one of the first ones that I would suggest that you try. Another example of a re-engagement email, this kind of goes along the lines of when we were talking about, maybe there's some problems that you guys are aware of within your marketing campaigns. In this particular case, Lowe's, which is a home improvement store, my guess is knew that they had some issues, that they had some hiccups with their websites, had some hiccups with their marketing campaign. So they're addressing it in this email, and they point blank tell everybody, you know, we've made some improvements since you've been away. Join the over 5 million members who are tossing their receipts and tracking their in-store purchases online with my Lowe's card. Learn more. The learn more, of course, is your call to action here. So what they've done is they've sent this to kind of the sleepy members of their list again, because some of these people may have strayed away. And the idea here is that you are acknowledging, hey, we get it. It's okay, you know, you've taken some time off, you've taken some time away, but we really want you to check out these cool new features. Again, it's a type of incentive that brings people back. So if I'm one of these customers, I might be thinking, oh, well, this sounds like an interesting program. Maybe I should learn more about it. I click on it. I go from there, and again, that inactive customer now becomes active once again. If you're going to do this kind of email, though, the kicker is you have to give them directions on how to see the improvements, right? So you don't just want to send an email that says, hey, we've made these great improvements, whatever they may be, and then leave it at that. You give them as much clear direction as humanly possible. Be specific on what those improvements are and how they benefit your customers. And then, of course, give them a call to action, some sort of button or hyperlink that will take them to those improvements so that they can see them firsthand. Another example of emails that we can send to re-engage folks is one of the emails that would check on their email preferences. So this kind of goes along the lines of trying to diagnose some of the problems that you may have with this particular segment of your list. Maybe you're sending too many. Maybe, you know, at the end of the day, your customers at the other end are just saying, you know what, 2 or 3 emails or 5 emails a week or however many it is that you're sending is just a little too much. Or maybe the customer's thinking, I really enjoy your newsletters, but you know, some of the other stuff I could deal without. So if that's the case, it's a lot easier to figure out what their email preferences are, let your customers set those email preferences, and give them the kind of content that they want specifically so that they are as engaged as humanly possible, if that makes sense. You know, if you're inundating their inbox, you know, sometimes it's a turnoff. Sometimes they just stop reading altogether because they figure, well, you know, I just opened an email from them, you know, 2 hours ago. And the flip side of this is also true. You know, sometimes we're not sending enough emails. You know, sometimes we're only sending, you know, 1 a month or 2 a month, and sometimes that's not enough to kind of jog people's memory on what it is that your company does or what your product can do for them. And so sometimes it's almost kind of a forgetful state, and that's why people kind of slide into that sleepy, inactive zone, because they just can't remember. What was that business again? What did they do? What kinds of things can I get from them? So if you can get people to re-engage by updating their email preferences, that's actually very beneficial to you, because now you can give them the targeted messages that they are actually looking for. It helps you diagnose some of those problems, right? Because now you're starting to understand, you know, through the data that you're collecting here, okay, you know, a lot of people are actually saying that they're just interested in my newsletter. So now I need to take my resources and my time and really devote it to that particular email. Another re-engagement email, and this again goes along that idea of kind of figuring out why people have become inactive and diagnosing the problems here, is a survey. And all of the emails that we've talked about prior to this really can just be sent to the inactive segment of your list. But when it comes to sending a survey via an email, I think it's beneficial to not just send it to those who are inactive, because let's be honest, if they're inactive, they may not respond to the survey. So in this case, if you can send it to your entire list or a larger segment of your list, you might be able to start figuring out, you know, what kind of some of the issues are with some of the people that are on your list. Now, that said, you should still send it to the inactive segment of your list, because you will be surprised how many people actually want to be listened to and can give you some good feedback when it comes to that. So it's not a lost cause to send it to those inactive folks. It's just a good idea to send it to a good cross-section of people so that you can get some really good results. Now, when it comes to surveys, you can use a lot of third-party sites that are free and easy. We can talk about some of those links afterwards if you guys are interested. But, you know, they have a lot of kind of pre-made templates. you can go through, design 5 questions and then, put that link that you make in that third-party application or on that software online into an email to send out, and you can collect those results. Fairly simple to do when you are creating the survey. Just a few tips. You want to keep it fairly short. Anyone that's got to devote a lot of time to putting into a survey, they're just not going to finish it. They'll get through question 1, question 2, and just kind of, be done with it. They could ignore it. So I would say somewhere between 5 to 7 questions. Make them short and easy, and tell people right away, in the email that you send, it's only going to take a few minutes. If you look at the example that we've got up here, if you look in that second paragraph, to help us improve, we'd like to ask you to answer a few questions of your experience so far. It'll only take 3 minutes. They specifically tell people how long it is going to take, and that's important when you're putting it into the email. So mention it's a survey, tell folks how long it's going to take, and then of course you need a call to action to take the survey. So you'll notice that pink button that's down there at the bottom. All key elements to this particular re-engagement email. And with that, we've gone over obviously some good examples and such. I'm certainly here to answer any of the questions that you guys may have, so feel free to pull up your comment box there and type away, and we can chat a little bit more about re-engagement campaigns.
Lisa, yes, hi. Thank you so much for sharing all those examples. There are a couple of people, those who would like to go through the examples once again. So if you can just go through them once again, one by one, maybe from the
Sure.
reverse order, because that will be easy for everyone to catch up again.
Sure. Let's see
Thank
here.
you.
Let me just fly through a few here. There we go. So we started out with this one here. I classify it as a "we miss you" email. The idea behind it is very simple. It's essentially just sending a coupon to those who are inactive to bring them back in. Essentially, if you're trying to offer someone a deal that they can't refuse, it's a pretty easy and quick way to bring them right back into the sales fold. And if you take a look at the example that we've got over here, very simple text, and it doesn't require a lot of time or effort, really. The subject, "We've missed you," or "Hey, we've noticed you haven't been around for a while, why don't you come on back?" Or to celebrate, you're welcome back to our company, here's 15% off, or here's a free gift, or whatever it may be. But this is one of the simplest ways to re-engage some of those people who are a little sleepy on your list here. So keep that one kind of as your main email to send. I would start out with this and just kind of see how much more re-engagement you can get out of this particular concept here. Again, I just call it a "we miss you" email, but you can use any kind of text, and the idea being that you just offer people an incentive to come on back. The other example that we went through was to tell people a little bit about your improvements. So maybe your website's been under construction, or maybe you haven't been sending out as many emails as you'd like. Maybe the company's under new management. Whatever it may be, if there's been a hiccup or hang up, or if you haven't been communicating with your customers the way you'd like to, or if you've just made improvements that you want people to know about, now's the time to do it, because maybe it's those issues that have contributed to a growing number of inactive members on your email list. So in this particular example, you'll notice it's from a home improvement store. They tell people right out of the gate, "We've made some improvements since you've been away." Obviously that indicates that this particular email recipient has been away for a little while, has been inactive, and now they're trying to lure them back in by telling them a little bit about some of the improvements. In this particular case, the retailer has changed some of their websites and added a few features for customers, and they tell them about it here in the email. When you do something like this, and it is very effective to do such, but when you do something like this, you have to be very specific. You need to kind of go through what those improvements are and give people a direct link to get to those improvements. They need to be able to see them firsthand. So you'll notice at the end of this example that there's a "Learn More" button, that green button that's down there at the bottom, that takes people right to the website and talks specifically about this particular program. It doesn't just go to the home page. It actually talks about the specific programs and improvements that they've been talking about here in this email. So this is a good idea as well. If you've made improvements, tell people what they are via an email. Another example that we went through, we're talking about re-engagement campaigns. Sometimes people just need to update their email preferences. You know, it's good for you as a business to know what it is that people want from you when it comes to email. So, you know, maybe you realize through these email preferences that your customers maybe only want newsletters. So maybe you'll learn that you'll devote more time and assets to that particular kind of content. Maybe people have just said, you know, you're just sending a few too many. Maybe they just want one email per week. Or maybe you're sending too few. Maybe they do want one per week and you've only been sending one per month. So the idea here is to really do a quick diagnostic check, right, of your email frequency, to update email preferences and to figure out what people want. When you collect that data, you'll really be able to figure out, okay, so, you know, of all the people that just updated their preferences, the core group of this inactive, you know, segment list says this is what they want. So you can take that information and really start to tailor what it is that you're doing in terms of frequency and in terms of content. The last one that we went over was a survey. The idea behind the survey is to, again, kind of do a quick diagnostic check and figure out why people are on the brink at this point, why they're wondering, well, I'm not really sure what this company has to offer. You can send a survey to them. And while the other emails that we went over are particular to just the inactive members, surveys I feel like can be sent to either your entire list or a larger list than just your inactive members, because the people who are active can help you hone your results, can help you hone your marketing efforts, right? So essentially you can create a survey, and you can create that survey through a third party, and we can go over a couple of those links if you'd like a little bit later. But you go in, you create a quick survey, 5, 6 questions, something along those lines. It spits out a quick link for you. You take that link and you put it right here into your email. A couple of quick notes on this example. You certainly want to tell people, you know, that one, you are conducting a survey, and you can even say right in there, you know, we're conducting a survey because we want to improve. We want to see what our customers want. We want to give you what we want. You can say those things right in the email. Be very upfront with them. Tell people how long the survey is going to take. You'll notice that in this particular email that it says it's going to take the recipient 3 minutes, and then of course you want to give them a link to the survey, which is the pink button that's down here on the bottom of the email as well. So those are the main examples. There's certainly some more re-engagement examples that are out there if you were to run a few searches. Those are the ones that I have found to be most effective, however. So with that, hopefully everybody kind of has taken a look at a few of those examples, and if we have some questions, Smita, feel free to send them my way.
Yes, definitely. I would first like to thank you, Lisa, for all those wonderful examples, and I'm sure all our friends who are attending the session have noted down all your tips. Friends, very quickly, I would just like to tell you about what Juvlon is. Juvlon is a multi-channel messaging software. Juvlon helps you in sending out bulk emails or mass emails and SMSs. Juvlon's packed features will help you in tracking receivers' movement. In that, what we say is the action-packed reports that you get out of Juvlon will help you understand the behavior of your audience, and this in turn will definitely help you in improving or checking out how successful your email marketing has been. And friends, post this event, we Team Juvlon are extending a helping hand to assess and review all your re-engagement emails. This is the free or complimentary service that we'll be offering for people, those who have registered for this webinar. We'll be helping them out in suggesting some ideas or reviewing their content and suggesting the engagement email campaigns that are relevant to their business and audience. This will be done on the individual basis, and everyone will be receiving the email about this early next week. We've already opened our session for question and answer, and Lisa, there are lots of questions that have come in. I'll go through it one by one.
Okay.
Yeah. In capacity of a consultant, what kind of strategies could be adopted to re-engage with prospects or clients who have declined the business or proposals in past? I think this question is more of the personal email rather than being an email marketing strategy. You have any suggestions, Lisa?
Let me just make sure I'm understanding the question. Are we trying to re-engage people who have completely stopped engaging in
Yes, they have
email? Is
declined
that
the business. They've not probably stopped responding or accessing the emails, but these are the people, those who have declined proposals in past.
I see, I see. Yeah, I do have a few strategies. When it comes to things like that, um, it's tough because if they've already declined the first time around, your efforts may be better spent trying to figure out who your better contacts might be that might accept it with a little bit of an easier process, right? That said, certainly shouldn't be giving up. If you've got a name, if you've got a contact, and it's someone that you want to go after, you certainly can do so, but if one method didn't work, it's time to completely do a 180 and really kind of figure out how to completely change things up. I know that's not a specific or a super specific suggestion for you, but I would say, whatever it is that you're doing that wasn't working, go the completely opposite direction and see if you can't engage them in something along those lines. Another effective way might be, to see if you can't get that one or two or three of these particular people who have declined on the phone or to answer a different kind of email, maybe a personal email, and just kind of pick their brain if they're willing. Like I said, a lot of people are willing to let you know what the problem is. There's no shortage of people who are willing to let you know what issues they can help
Right.
you solve, right? So I would say try to maybe send them a personal email as well to see if you can't pick their brain and ask them, okay, so what is it that isn't working? If you could just help me, kind of define some more parameters, and then maybe, through their suggestions, you can use that information to help later on.
Right, right. There's another question again, interesting one that this we are a website wherein people register to choose a course, and once the course is done, they've consumed the online courses. There's no reason for them to open the emails. So he wants to know that how can he still re-engage them. So it's a
Oh,
online site where people register to take some courses, and once they're done with it, they feel that they hardly come back to open their emails.
okay, I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, if people are taking your courses and signing up that way, obviously you have some interest. It's just a matter of finding the content that hits home, right? So I would suggest trying to send a variety of emails to that particular, base that has more information. So, I mean, maybe you send an email that talks to them a little bit about the history of your campaign, the history of your classes. Maybe you send them, once a month a calendar of upcoming events. The idea behind it is to continue to be in front of your customer, whatever those emails may or may not be. When a holiday rolls around, for example, maybe offer them a 20% discount on their next, upcoming course. The idea is to think out of the box here, but to continue to send out some sort of information to keep them engaged and to keep your name and the course names in front of them, whether that be, a little bit of an educational email, a promotional email, or a newsletter. Newsletters can be very helpful. Maybe you're just, going to tell folks what's going on with your company, what, those upcoming classes are. Another idea might be to send out a survey. Hey, we appreciate that you've taken, this course and that course. What other courses would be of interest to you? What other courses do you think that you would take if we were to offer them? Have them do a quick survey for you. The idea just to keep getting an email in their inbox that is of interest to them, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's very true. Now, a very complimentary question on the suggestion that you have just given. Is there a number of how many emails we can send in a day or a week?
Very popular question. And I would love to give you a black and white answer that, the one size fits all for every single business. But the truth is that there isn't that magic number of emails. It really does depend on what your business does and what your customers like. I would say, small businesses can certainly get away with sending at least one email a week. And it really depends on the size of your business, right? but I would say no fewer than one a week. And when it comes to sending those emails, they can't always be promotional emails. I think that's one of the kind of black holes that some small businesses tend to fall in. If the only email that you're sending, and if you're only sending it once a week, is, hey, buy my product, hey, buy my product, hey, buy my product, no one is going to be paying attention. So you really need to make sure that you're working through diversity. I think diversity is a bigger issue than actually the number of emails that you're sending. When it comes to the number, I would say at least one a week, but I would also say to play with those numbers and watch your metrics, right?
Correct.
When you send 2 a week, you know, does that do better? Are you seeing better conversions? Do you get better click-throughs? If you send 3 a week, you know, it's all about experimentation, to be honest with you, and watching those metrics that you have access to when you're sending out bulk emails.
Right. There's one question which even I would like to attend to this, and Lisa, you can add into my comments also. Renuka has asked that most of my emails go to promotion box. How can I overcome that? To this, I'll say that the promotion box is meant for acquiring all the emails that are promotional. So let's not worry about it. Let them be there in promotional boxes. People, those who have some time, they get some time at their leisure, they'll definitely go to promotion box. I myself go there to see what kind of promotions or the offers am I receiving. And whenever I check those emails, I do it at my leisure. So I have full attention to those emails. So Renuka, don't worry. Let those emails go in promotion box. It is meant for that. And the way your emails are behaving, they are behaving perfectly. Just in case if it's an information or some other kind of email that you're sending out, then it should land in inbox rather than in promotional emails. Lisa, you have anything to add to this?
Oh, I think you've got the perfect answer right there. I agree. And I use the promotions box just as you do, right? You know, I may not attend to those as fast as my business emails or my personal emails, but when I do, I sit down and kind of, you know, tick through a whole bunch of different promotions and see which ones are right for me. So I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Correct. So there's one question, a little bit different kind of it. Sometimes recipients receive text email, but still email marketing platform counts it as inactive email because they do not download images. How to overcome this issue? I think it's a little bit technical. Lisa, if you would like to take this up, or shall we leave
Yeah.
for our technical team?
Well, I would definitely say it is a question for the technical team. But in the meantime, you might be able to do a few tricks. Maybe, you know, in the meantime, stay away from the big graphics that you're trying to use. I'm not saying that email shouldn't involve images, because I certainly believe that images help, you know, build an email, but in some cases people use files that are huge, and then it's just too much to load, or the browser won't load them. And I really believe at the end of the day, you know, you can still get your point across with text as well. So I would certainly advise you to get some more advice from a technical person, but I would watch your image size, and I would focus on text as well, on the off chance that it doesn't load in the browser, and you're still getting your point across and not, you know, completely losing someone's time.
Right. So there's one more question is like, what if we are selling offline and do not want to send discount mails? What else can we send to re-engage? I guess this depends on the kind of business you're running, and there can be few suggestions as Lisa had said, but I'll let her repeat these suggestions again for us.
Yeah, it really does depend, you're right, on the particular business. I think the idea is to offer some sort of an incentive that is relevant to your business. So if you're offering a service, maybe you're a service-based business, you might offer a discount on a particular package, or if you're offering classes, online classes, as we had that example a moment ago, maybe there's a discount to, you know, that particular class, or you can always do giveaways as well. You know, now I've seen a lot of nonprofits do this. You know, if you donate, you know, X amount of money to our campaign by Christmas, we'll send you out a free T-shirt or whatever it may be. So I feel like some sort of incentive, whatever it may may be, whether it's a discount, coupon code, maybe it's even, hey, bring this email into our business if you have a brick and mortar business and we'll give you a discount, or it's a giveaway of some sort. And that giveaway can be a small product that you make, perhaps, or it can be, a promotional item, pens, t-shirts, those kinds of things that are on the cheaper end that you can give away that also promote and market your business.
Right, right. There's one more interesting question, that if any client, if they've said that they'll come back to us with requested details, how long do we have to wait for them?
How long to wait to send the first email to them?
How long to wait, I guess, unless we announce them or declare them as inactive, probably?
Oh, I see what you're saying. More like a time frame before you could kind of clear them off your
Correct.
list.
Correct.
I'm with you. That's a tricky one as well. I would say that, if you take your inactive list and you really focus on it for, let's say, a month, and you reach out to them with at least 2 or 3 emails and you still get no response, and one of those emails should be to update email preferences, of course, and you get no response, then I would say it's okay to clear them off your list. Now that's provided, obviously you're spending this one kind of month intense program, you're trying to really re-engage these people, but that's provided at that point that person has probably been inactive for several months at this point. So, at the end of the day, if they're still not responding to those emails that you're sending out when you're trying to work on this re-engagement campaign, it is okay to go ahead and remove them, because you do want to maintain a healthy list. There's no point in putting efforts into, names and people who are indeed inactive. These are great ideas to bring those people who are kind of on the brink back, but you're not going to save everyone, right? So I would say really spend some time, send out these re-engagement emails, but if you still don't have engagement after sending 2, 3 emails to them, then it's okay to take them off.
Right. That's perfect. There's another question. We are into insurance, and how can we engage people as we do not have too many discounts to offer? It's more of services, and people are bombarded with too many options. Please do suggest how to gain their attention.
Yeah. When it comes to insurance, I know for my own example, insurance confuses the living crap out of me, to be honest, right? So, I mean, if you think about your, target audience, what can you supply them with that will help them, that will provide some sort of incentive? So if you can't offer them necessarily, 15% off, what you could offer them is free consultation, right? An email that says insurance is confusing. We understand that you need life insurance, health insurance, whatever it is, lists of products that you have, and that it's a confusing world. We're here to help. Why don't you come in for a free consultation? So the incentive or giveaway is someone that's going to sit down, explain this in layman's terms, and offer your time, offer a free consultation, and see how many you get.
All right. That's very interesting, Lisa. There's another question. We are a gaming site where people register and play, but they are not opening our emails. How to re-engage them?
So, I'm sorry, I think I lost you there for a second.
Oh,
So they're
oh.
opening them, but that's as far as we're getting?
This is the gaming site. So people come there, register, they play, and they just vanish. They just do not open the email. So they just want to know that how to
I
re-engage
see.
these people.
Yeah, so similar to the example that we had a few minutes ago when we were talking about online courses, and they're there for that temporary time, and then it's like they fall off the face of the earth. It's a very common problem, and so again, I think the answer is in diverse emails, and you need to figure out, what it is that they are interested in. For a gaming site, and for the online site too, that one of the ideas that I didn't mention is maintaining a blog. If you can update a blog with some interesting content, maybe about new games that are coming out, maybe about upcoming specials that you're going to be having, things that members can take advantage of, and then you can put all of those things into an email, right, that brings people to your blog or to your website or wherever that content might live, and that can really engage some people and it also encourages website traffic. So there's a couple of different ways. Maybe you start a blog. A newsletter is really engaging when it comes to bringing people back into the fold. Calendar of events, upcoming games that people really like to play. Again, you can do a survey email, right? Hey, we've seen that you really like this game, that game. What else can we give you? What else can you take advantage of that you might enjoy? So it's really about being diverse when you send these kinds of emails.
Correct, correct. Lisa, I'll just pull out the last question since we are on top of the hour. The question is that how do you keep your message simple as well as ensure it's being read and received by people?
Good question. You're 100% right in saying when we're talking about email marketing, your message should be simple because people do not have a lot of time. People are not going to read your email if it's, in an essay form, right? That's not going to happen. So what I advise my clients to do when it comes to writing their messages is to write it 3 times. And it's kind of a weird rule, but essentially, let's say, whatever it is that you're trying to do, maybe it's just, a sale or a promotion of some sort, write it out, go back through it a couple of times and start taking out excess words. You don't need full sentences all the time when it comes to emails. You don't need to have paragraphs when it comes to emails. You can have short sentences or short little, blocks of text. You can have bullet lists. Those are helpful. That kind of pull the eye. Whatever you can do to eliminate excess words and to not get too wordy is the idea behind it. So write your email, then go back through and edit it is my suggestion when it comes to that.
Yes.
And if you're doing that, people will read that. So
Right.
I think they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, I would just like to add one more suggestion to this is that what I generally do is whenever I write such kind of promotional email, I take it to some of my colleagues who are not at all related to that. I mean, someone from probably admin department, someone from finance department, and someone from probably a techie guy from development team who probably doesn't know that what exactly are we going to promote. And if those people, those who are not connected to the promotions that we are going to send out, if they could understand your message very clearly, that means it's really a very simple email that you have written.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Anytime you can get an extra set of eyes on your email, not just to make sure that the message is clear, but to make sure that there's, no other issues, misspellings and errors and such.
Right.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal suggestion. Yep.
All right, so it's already almost towards the end of the session. Lisa, once again, I would like to thank you for being a guest speaker for today's session, and audience, thanks to you all too. Here I would again like to repeat that Team Juvlon is extending a helping hand to access and review your re-engagement emails. With this, friends, I'll end today's session. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes, thanks.